Everybody, I'm Paul,
I'm Jama.
I'm Grace.
I'm Molly.
I'm Tori.
I'm Tim.
and today we're going to be talking about visual aids. In fact, we're using a visual aid right now. Can you guess what it is? If you guessed it was this video, then you're right. Visual aids are very important, and when used correctly, they can turn boring presentations into true experiences. Be sure to pay attention and take notes, as there will be a quiz at the end of this video to gauge your understanding of the concept.
A visual aid is something that supports thoughts with pictures, charts, or illustrations. The term visual aid is a very general term, as there are many types. We will talk about those next.
There's a wide array of the different types of visual aids, and you need to make sure that you use the right one for your specific presentation. For example, there are different platforms that you can make your visual aid on, such as physical representation or electronic one. Some specific types of these are PowerPoints, whiteboards, blackboards, posters, paper, handouts, charts, flip and flow, videos, props, 3D models, and more.
Depending on how you use your visual aid, it could make or break the entire effect. For example, in a formal presentation, you will probably want to make a PowerPoint and use charts for statistical representations. But for a more casual presentation, you might make a simple poster or prop. Also, try your best not to make your visual aid too distracting, as it might take away your audience's attention from your presentation.
Making a visual aid is a delicate process. Visual aids can be made in different ways, but there is a certain methodology to make it easier. It goes like this. First, you'll make a rough draft that covers the overview of the topic. Then, narrow down key points and keep the specifics. Next, find visuals that represent the key points. Try to keep it as simple. You don't want to distract the audience. Once you collect your visuals, you will begin to put your presentation together.
There are pros and cons to having a visual aid for your presentation. Some pros are that a visual aid can help the audience to take better notes by emphasizing key points in the presentation. Also, if the speaker forgets what to say, they can look at the visual to help regain their memory. On the other hand, some cons are that a visual aid can be distracting to the audience and cause them to lose focus on what the speaker is saying. Not only can a visual aid distract the audience, but it can distract the speaker as well. In order to maximize pros and minimize cons, you must make sure to use the visual aid correctly. When making a visual aid, you want to pick a good font size. You don't want your font to be too big to where it is distracting, or too small where your audience can't read it. Using at least font size 20 is always a good idea. Make sure to also pick a simple and clean background. You want your background to make your presentation more appealing, not boring. Distracting backgrounds can make it hard to read your information. Use the fewest words possible on your slides. If you have too many words, it makes it harder for your audience to follow along. Short bulleted lists highlight the points you want your audience to remember.
What was the main things you should focus on when having the visual aid? A. Make sure to include all your information on the visual aid. B. Make sure the visual aid isn't taking attention away from the content presented. C. Make sure the visual aid is the main focus of the presentation. D. Use lots of animations to make your visual aid interesting. The correct answer is B. Make sure the visual aid isn't taking too much attention from the content being presented. You want to make sure that you, the speaker, is the main focus, not the visual aid.
Which one of these are an example of a visual aid? A. Poster. B. Graph/chart. C. Video. D. Handouts. E. All of the above. The correct answer is E. All of the above. There are many different types of visual aids. When deciding on which one to use, make sure you think about the information you are presenting. If your presentation includes a lot of statistics, it would make sense to use graphs and tables to display the data. How do you make a visual aid? A. Rough draft, key points, representative images. B. Rough draft and final draft. C. All information on your visual aid. D. None of the above. The correct answer is A. Rough draft, key points, representative images. Starting with a rough draft helps you organize your ideas and decide on the main points you want to emphasize with your visual. Adding representative images can also make your visual more appealing if used in moderation.
Are visual aids always necessary? A. Yes, you should always use them. B. No, they're too hard to make. C. No, visual aids have both pros and cons and aren't always necessary. The correct answer is C. Visual aids should only be used when necessary. Sometimes visual aids can be distracting to the audience and take away the effect of the presentation.
How important is effort when making visual aids for presentations? A. Not at all. Presentations can work with little effort. B. Somewhat. They just need to get information across. Or C. Very. A visual aid can make or break a presentation. The correct answer is C. Effort is very important. Distracting presentations can take the audience's attention away from the speaker. Poor effort can also make your presentation appear sloppy. Visual aids are meant to enhance your presentations, not hurt them.